all that information is going to be provided to you on the website.
Right. I actually started my career as a consular officer overseas, so I often found that people or students would bring very large stacks of materials, and sometimes they would be a little bit disappointed when I wasn't looking at all the documents.
Right.
But you've listed the basic ones, and sometimes officers might want to see more, so it doesn't hurt to bring them, right?
Right. They may want to see more, and you can find out what those additional documents may be by looking at the website.
Right. But you shouldn't be offended if they don't look at it, right?
No. You do need to keep in mind when you're going to these visa interviews that you don't necessarily need all these different documents to establish that you qualify. The consular officer is going to interview you and ask you questions, and chances are they won't even need to look at your additional documents.
Right. Okay, well, we have another question here. What are the different classifications of visas, and what would I need to study in the United States?
So there are numerous visa classifications depending on what your purpose of travel is going to be. For students seeking to study in the U.S., there are 3 categories: the F visa, J visa, and M category visa. So F visas are for students in academic programs ranging from primary school right on through PhD. An F visa is also appropriate for language study program. J visas are for exchange visitors participating in exchange programs. Students on J visas can study at the secondary school level, that's public or private high school, or post-secondary, which is college or university. Exchange visitors can be working toward a degree, but it's not required. And then the third category of student visa is the M category. This is for vocational or non-academic study.
Well, I imagine a lot of our viewers here have already heard from their colleges and universities in the United States if they've been accepted. So normally the International Student Office will let the student know what kind of visa they're going to require and provide the appropriate document. And that actually leads into a question that we have from the audience. Can you explain more about the I-20 and the DS-2019 and what the difference is between them?
Sure. So the Form I-20 is a required document for applying for the F student visa. And as you said, it's going to be issued to you by the school. The Form DS-2019 is a required document to apply for the J category exchange visitor visa. It's going to be issued to you by the designated sponsor of your program.
Okay, great. All right, we have another question. An online viewer asks, how important is a scholarship listed within an I-20 for getting a visa? Is it really important and a plus point for the student for getting a visa?
Whether or not you have a scholarship isn't going to impact whether or not you qualify for the visa.
But obviously it speaks a little bit to financing, and one of the things for applying for a visa is that you need to be able to finance your studies.
That's true. So that's true. If you have a scholarship, you won't need the amount listed on your I-20 that you're going to need to show that you can finance is going to be a bit less if you have a scholarship. So that's true.
Yeah, great. Okay, we have another question. How long is the entire visa application process from start to finish? And I think that kind of depends, doesn't it, Laura?
Yeah, so if we're talking strictly about the visa process, that is applying for the visa and receiving it, it's going to depend on things like how long you need to wait to get your interview. At most posts, we do try to keep the wait times low. They are going to go up some in the summer months naturally because a lot of students are applying for visas as well as folks coming to the U.S. For vacation. So, there's that factor to keep in mind. After the visa interview, assuming you are qualified, as we said, more than 85% of students are found to be qualified, your visa will probably be issued shortly after your interview. Some cases, because each case is processed individually, some cases may require some additional administrative processing after the visa interview, and the time frame for that can vary.
Right. So, yeah. I know that the State Department is committed to expediting student visas, and I was just looking at travel.state.gov last night, And I was very pleasantly surprised to see that many posts around the world just have a one-day wait for a student visa interview.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do try to treat students with priority because we definitely want them to be able to get here on time, to start their classes on time. Obviously, that's very important.
Right.
That said, we do encourage you to apply early. Don't wait to the last minute. Once you have your I-20, your visa can be issued up to 120 days, so that's roughly 4 months before the start of your program.
Oh, great. And then when can you actually enter the United States before the start of your program?
You can enter no earlier than 30 days before the program start date.
Oh, great. So you can settle in, maybe do a little bit of tourism, visit a relative before your classes start.
Right.
That's great.
All those things.
Okay, we have another question here. Shali asks, I was refused an F1 visa today. I would like to schedule another meeting at the U.S. consulate. Is this possible?
Yes, it is possible. So if you are refused, if you're found to be not qualified for the visa, you can reapply. And we do, in fact, encourage students to reapply, particularly if your circumstances have somehow changed. So yes, you can absolutely reapply.
Great. Okay, and another